Most followers of Mafia history are familiar with famous photos of mobsters, such as this one, featuring Chicago outfit powerhouse Paul Ricca on the far left, and New York gangsters Charlie Luciano and Meyer Lansky in the middle. But here is a selection of a few rare ones you might not have seen. Let's check it out. Welcome to OC Shorts, bringing you detailed historical snapshots of the American Mafia and other organised crime. Feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. Today, we're going to take a quick look at a few rarely discussed Mafia photos. First up, we have a picture of Carmine Persico's wedding day. Persico would eventually become boss of the Colombo crime family, as is widely known, and passed away in prison on March 7, 2019, after serving 32 years of a sentence of over 100 years that he received from both the famous commission case and the Colombo family's Star Quest trial. Sticking with the Colombo crime family, we have this photo featuring several underworld heavyweights. Starting on the far left, we have Colombo family soldier Natale Marconi. Marconi would also serve as the president of the Italian Civil Rights League. Next to him is Colombo family associate Hugh Apples McIntosh, a feared and respected enforcer of Irish descent. He was very close with future family boss Carmine Persico, and was also considered a big earner for the crime family. On the far right is Anthony Colombo, son of then family boss Joe Colombo. Next to Anthony Colombo is Carmine Persico, a captain in the Colombo family at the time of this photo. And finally, next to Persico is family boss Joe Colombo. There are very few photos in circulation of Persico and Joe Colombo together. Jumping back to mob weddings, we have a photo of a young Angelo Quack Quack Ruggiero on his wedding day. Ruggiero would become inducted into the Gambino crime family in 1977 at the age of 37. He would eventually go on to become a captain under John Gotti, before getting shelved by his old friend and boss, and then dying of cancer on December 4th, 1989. Speaking of John Gotti, here are a couple of lesser known photos of the man that the press would eventually dub the Dapper Don. While Gotti seemed to enjoy the limelight during his tenure as boss of the Gambino crime family, Vincent Chin Gigante preferred to remain low-key and in the shadows as boss of the secretive Genovese family. Here is a picture of Gigante with his wife Olympia, and then a couple more with his beloved mother Yolanda. Sticking with the Genovese crime family, here is a picture of Genovese family consigliere Louis Bobby Manna taking a walk with the respected organised crime boss Russell Bufalino, who was the head of the northeastern Pennsylvania Cosa Nostra family. In Joe Bonanno's autobiography Man of Honor, he doesn't mention Carmine Galante once. Galante served as either underboss or consigliere to Bonanno, depending on the source you read, so his omission from the autobiography raised some eyebrows. But here is a picture of Galante at dinner with his boss Joe Bonanno. From left to right, Joe Bonanno, family boss, Gaspar Di Gregorio, Carmine Lilo Galante, and Vincent Danna. Back to another wedding, this time for Colombo family powerhouse Andrew Mush Russo. Russo was inducted into the Colombo family in early 1976 and was promoted to captain shortly after. He was the cousin of longtime family boss Carmine Persico and served at times as underboss and street boss. After Carmine Persico died in prison in 2019, it is alleged that Andy Mush Russo became the official boss of the family right up until his own death in 2022. Godfather actor James Caan can be seen at the bottom of this photo. The pair were close friends, and Mus Russo was allegedly the godfather to James Caan's son, Scott. Heading to Philadelphia now, and a photo from October the 24th, 1980, featuring an 18-year-old Joey Merlino as a jockey at Keystone Racetrack. As is famously known, Joey Merlino would eventually go on to be the alleged head of the Philadelphia crime family. In this photo is Joe Bonanno, longtime boss of the crime family that still bears his name. In this rare photo, Bonanno is pictured with boxer Tony Canzoneri. Canzoneri was a 3-division world champion, fighting championships between bantamweight and light welterweight. In total throughout his career, Canzoneri held 5 world titles. Interestingly, Joe Bonanno's son Bill states that Tony Canzoneri was a captain in the Bonanno crime family. And in 1970, Tony Canzoneri appeared in the FBI's dead list, which lists criminals who have passed away. And Canzoneri, who had died in 1959, is listed as a deceased Bonanno family member. Now for some photos of powerful mobsters on horseback. Firstly, Colombo family boss Joe Colombo, who would eventually be shot on June 28, 1971 by Jerome Johnson. He would pass away on May 22, 1978. In this photo, we have Genovese family powerhouse Ruggiero Richie the Boot Boiardo. Richie the Boot was one of the most powerful mobsters in New Jersey, and eventually a Genovese family captain. Next, another influential Genovese mobster on a horse, this time the former captain of the powerful 116th Street Crew, Michael Trigger Mike Coppola. Coppola ran a crew that contained several future Genovese family heavyweights, including Anthony Fat Tony Salerno, Philip Benny Squint Lombardo, and Severio Sammy Black Santora. In this photo, Trigger Mike Coppola is on the left, and on the right is one of the soldiers in his crew, Joseph Pip the Blind Gagliano. Going back to Philadelphia, we have photos of 2 Philly mob captains when they were in their youth. First up, a photo of alleged Philly mob captain Dominic Baby Dom Grande. The picture is supposedly Dom Grande graduating 8th grade. Baby Dom was recently part of a high-profile federal case and took a plea deal agreement in 2022 for 6.5 years after pleading guilty to racketeering conspiracy, extortion and drug charges. In this next photo is a young Salvi Testa. Testa was the son of former Philadelphia crime boss Philip the Chicken Man Testa, who was blown up by a nail bomb in 1981. His son Salvi would rise to become a captain under Nicky Scarfo. But according to some sources, Scarfo felt threatened by the popular Salvi Testa and ordered his murder. On September 14, 1984, the 28-year-old Salvi Testa was shot to death by Salvatore Wayne Grande, the father of Dominic Grande, who featured in the previous photo. Wayne Grande would become a government informant in around 1993. Allegedly, his son Dominic has nothing to do with him. Now, a few photos of some Chicago outfit heavyweights. Firstly, longtime Chicago powerhouse Anthony Joe Batters Accardo, at home preparing some meat in the kitchen. And next, a couple of rare photos of the greatly feared Sam Mooney Giancana. In one photo sporting a sombrero, and the other shows the aging Giancana, perhaps with a young relative. Now for 2 photos of Gambino soldier Roy DeMeo. DeMeo, famous for heading up the brutal Gemini crew, a group of associates who murdered countless individuals throughout the 1970s and early 1980s. In the second photo, DeMeo is sat with his son Albert, and on the far right is DeMeo crew member Chris Rosenberg. Here is a picture of Lucchese family mobster Al Diaco with his young children. Al Diaco would go on to become captain of Paul Vario's Canarsie crew, and then for a period he became acting boss of the family before turning informant after he believed that family boss Vicar Musso and underboss Anthony Casso wanted him killed. In this photo is also his son Joseph. Joseph Diaco would also become a soldier in the Lucchese crime family, and he was inducted alongside former Roy DeMeo crew members Joey Testa and Anthony Senta in a ceremony in 1988. When his father Al Diaco became a government informant, Joseph entered witness protection with him. In this next photo, we have future Colombo family acting boss Vittorio Little Vic Orena, pictured here on his wedding day. Little Vic would later lead a rebellion against imprisoned official boss Carmine Persico, which resulted in what is now known as the Third Colombo War. In this picture, he is photographed messing about with his son John. This selection of photos have been sourced from various places, including the following excellent websites: gangstersbb.net and the Black Hand Forum. Both these sites have many excellent members, some of whom are far better researchers than myself. They are well worth checking out. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.